Welcome back to another clay video. Today we are going to create World 4 from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. The first 3 worlds I created had this wavy layered pattern. We don't have to create this pattern anymore for the rest of the worlds. Now that we have our sandy layer, let's start working on the main platform. We need a piece that's sort of in the shape of a peanut. I don't want it to sit kind of awkwardly on top of it, I want it to blend in nice and smooth with the sand, so we need to clear out a big place for it to go. Let's blend these two pieces together. And we can start out with some stars. When I saw this map had some stars, I was not looking forward to it. I only had 3 or 4 stars this time that didn't turn out, so it worked out pretty good. Using some green clay, I created this nice grassy pattern for the top. On the last world, we had the snow sort of overhanging it in different sections, and I wanted to do this again with the grass. I've darkened up the grass color with a little bit of black, and we'll use this to create the bushes. These are some really highly detailed things for being as tiny as they are. After we have these 3 layers, we can use some red clay to create the tiniest flowers I have ever made. In the center we have a little bit of yellow, and I created 4 of these to go on top of the map. Let's get those into place and we can move on to creating the trees. This was something that took a lot of thinking to figure out how I was going to create these trees. They have this striped pattern, and it's something that I've never created before. And that wasn't even the hardest part. I think the hardest part to figure out was the top of the tree. I had to figure out some way to create some treetops without building them on top of the tree. Being unbaked, these trees are just a little bit too weak to hold up the leaves. So I started by taking some different colors of green and blending them together to get a nice little swirl pattern. I flattened it all down and started cutting out some leaves. I tried to go a little bit random with the shapes of them so they weren't all exactly the same. I also need some small and some big because there's 2 different sizes of trees. This is the idea I came up with. Using some waste clay will create a little bit of a stand, and we'll build it on top of that. This will act as basically the top of the tree, and after baking we can remove this support. And hopefully we'll have a nice little treetop we can glue on top of our trees. Now let's make some bigger flowers, which are much easier to assemble than the ones on the bushes. The final clay detail before baking is creating the sign. You're probably very used to seeing the process of this by now. It's exactly the same on every world, just a different number. I would say this turned out to be my favorite world so far, and by that I mean the design of it. Water worlds are the worst in any game I've played. They're either really hard or really terrifying, because underwater is just home to too many creepy things. Like that giant eel in Mario 64. That thing terrified me as a kid. After making the hole for the sign, we are ready to get baked. After baking, I was pleasantly surprised that this actually worked out. Most times when I try something new, it doesn't work the first try. The support removed really nicely and left us with a perfect treetop. Let's take some super glue and attach those onto the trees. And I think these ended up being the coolest trees I have ever created. Let's assemble the sign and get that into place. And that is our final detail. So here it is, World 4 from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm having a lot of fun creating these little miniature worlds, and it's going to be really cool to see them all come together at the end. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.